Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video. This is my video where some guests of mine are going to give you their thoughts, and I'm going to give you mine who might just finish the heist come the end of the new Premier League season. So we're going to consider 5 things, and the first one is going to be player recruitment. The second thing is going to be managers, their tactics, and of course the history of each manager, in which we're going to talk about. The third factor is going to be past meetings. The fourth factor is going to be our opening day fixtures. And the fifth and final fixture is going to be our thoughts on who might have the best chance of stopping the two favourites of winning the title, which are, of course, Liverpool and Manchester City. We're going to give you guys our thoughts on who might have the best chance of stopping them. But yes, introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Mitchell. You may already know that, but okay.
Go on.
Hello, Michaeli, you should know that, innit?
Yeah, my name's David, and you already know I'm a Tottenham fan.
I love how you're so calm. But yes, move back a bit.
Sorry, man.
But yes, starting off in alphabetical order, we're going to, of course, start with player recruitment, and we're going to go to you first, because, of course, Arsenal is the first in the alphabet out of us three. Go on.
Yeah, so we signed Martinelli first. It's been decent. Played a few games, scored one goal, I believe. Then we signed Saliba, good centre-back, good promising centre-back, but he went out on loan, so we're going to see him next year, so we don't need to focus on him right now. We signed Dani Ceballos, I think, from Real Madrid on a season-long loan. I think he could be a promising signing, really good. And we signed Nicolas Pepe, a promising signing as well. He's 24 years old. He just came back from the AFCON games. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great signings, but we need a centre back because we're lethal going forward, but we're just like Toyota, 205. So bad at the back. Yeah.
Right, now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. We haven't really been able to sign anyone because, of course, we have that transfer ban, which Chelsea rightfully decided to not lift, or try to lift anyways. But we've brought Mateo Kovacic in on a permanent basis because, of course, he was at loan with us during the course of the 2018-19 season. But yeah, good signing because during the course of the pre-season campaign, he's actually been excellent. We've, of course, brought some of our youth players back from loan, back from loan, and they've done pretty well. In particular, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Callum Hudson-Odoi is, of course, injured. Thanks a lot, Burnley. Thanks a lot. Reece James is injured as well. Tomori, he's had a decent pre-season campaign, and there are a few others who've been decent. But with the way in which our summer has gone, it looks as though the youth players that have come back from loan have done pretty well, and I cannot wait to see how they do on the first day, and not only on the first day, throughout the entire season. But yes, that's it for my thoughts on my thoughts. That's it for my thoughts on our player recruitment. What are your thoughts on Tottenham's player recruitment?
So we signed Jack Clark from Leeds United, but we're putting back on loan to Leeds United. And we have also signed Ndombele due to Chelsea having a transfer ban.
Yeah, we have a history of taking other people's players. You guys know what I'm going to say next, but I remember a Manchester United fan who we all knew, and you guys know who I'm on about. He was telling us the story of how we actually took Merkel in a car.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, we took Merkel in a car from Carrington, I believe it is. That's their training ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we actually took him back to West London and signed him ourselves. That's funny. And of course, we took Willian from Tottenham, and I believe we stopped Tottenham from signing another player. Who was it?
No, I have no idea.
But we
was it Batshuayi?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
But we have stopped our rivals, or our top 6 rivals, shall we say, from getting the signings in which they actually came in for. But yeah, anything else?
Yeah, I'll just say with the Jack Clark signing, I'm not too bothered about it. I don't believe that he's ready. That's why we obviously loaned him back out again. But we'll see him next season, and we'll just try and develop him, I guess.
I think you lot are going to be a force to be reckoned with because the fact that you brought in Tanguy Ndombele, is he a defensive midfielder?
Yeah, if I'm correct. Yeah. I think he's a defensive midfielder.
That's going to free up the likes of Ericsson, Dele Alli, who always scores against us. Recently, not so much. I believe the last time he scored against us was when he embarrassed us and beat us by 3-1 when realistically it should have been by more, because we were
Yeah.
shocking. we were nothing short of shocking. I'm not going to swear, but yeah, we were
Positively shocking.
You can, fair enough. Yeah, those two always score against us, and on top of that, Ndombele and Musa Sissoko is going to be should be something special in midfield, because they are both good players. Musa Sissoko does get a lot of criticism. He does get scapegoated a lot. I've seen him play, and he's actually a really good player. Has he scored for you lot yet?
Yeah, he scored once against Huddersfield. That's pretty much it.
But I think he may not be the best at finishing, but he is, and we all four of us have to admit that he is very good at driving with the ball. In my opinion, he's a very good number 8. He's very good at driving with the ball and creating chances and opening up spaces by driving with the ball. But yes, that's it for our thoughts on each of our clubs' recruitment of players. The next thing, like I said already, in which we're going to consider is our managers. Starting off with Unai Emery, of course. What are your thoughts on Unai Emery?
Yeah, so basically, as you know, we play now a pressing game, which I really like. The way they move fast, the way they get into space to score the goals is amazing. Like, when we were with Wenger, we were playing tiki-taka. It was okay, but it was a bit boring. It's getting old now. That's like 1996. We're in 2019 now. It's time for a new era of Arsenal Football Club.
Fair enough. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Like, because Wenger was like, go express yourself. So that's not like he has no game plan. Like with Unai, he has a game plan. Like he knows what to do when he's facing someone, like a team, and it's good what his pressing game. I like what he does with the team. I like it.
Now for my thoughts, I think that Frank Lampard has really brought a newfound confidence out of the team. Yes, the squad is going to be a lot younger than the squad in which played under Maurizio Sarri, and to be fair, that's not going to be something difficult to change, because of course Maurizio Sarri only had one season with us. But yes, Frank Lampard does like to use a back four system. I believe he mostly used the 4-2-3-1 in his tenure at Derby, and that of course that of course accentuates the use of a double pivot, and that could be essential to our potential success during the course of the season, because we do have some really good players who can play in those deeper midfield positions, i.e. Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, who is more of a defensive midfielder than an attacking midfielder, and of course the man himself, the best defensive midfielder on the planet, N'Golo Kante. And of course during the season they're going to have to rotate, but what I like about the team so far, even though what we've seen is only from our pre-season campaign, we look as though we're actually able to press the ball from the front. We look as though we're actually organised in midfield. Of course, we do have a bit of defensive. Of course, we do make defensive mistakes, because that's bound to happen when a new manager comes in. However, I do think that the team won't take too long to get used to Frank Lampard's style of play, because of course Frank Lampard does like to use on most occasions an attacking style of football, which is of course what Maurizio Sarri tried to implement during his tenure at Stamford Bridge last year. But overall, I'm feeling slightly confident, but at the same time I'm feeling slightly reserved, because we do have some players who need to come back, but at the same time there are many things that could happen on the bad side of things. But that's it for my thoughts on the appointment of Frank Lampard and his tactics.
I'd say Pochettino just needs to keep doing more of the same. Just keep using that 4-2-3-1, my favourite formation. We don't need to go with 3 at the back more, because I prefer us playing 4 at the back and just using the full backs and trying to get back as quick as possible to defend. That's pretty much it.
I think the problem with your system is, of course, pushing your fullbacks up or having attacking fullbacks is a good tactic, because of course that allows your inside forwards or your wingers to cut in, and of course your forward-thinking midfielders to of course go forward.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that if your fullbacks aren't quick enough, if they're not quick enough tracking back, space is there.
Yeah,
especially if they're near enough to the box, or in the what's the technical term? Especially if they're in the wide space. that could cause you a lot of trouble, especially if you don't have a lot of players back. Because one example of this, I didn't actually watch the game in which I'm going to give you as an example, but when you lost 1-0 to Manchester United at Wembley, was it? Your fullbacks pushed very high up, and I believe that's where they got the only goal from, through Marcus Rashford. And yeah, they caused you a lot of problems down the wide. I mean, in the wide spaces. But yeah, to be honest, from what I heard, you lot actually weren't that bad in that game. You did create a lot of chances, which of course shows that the use of attacking fullbacks has advantages. Anything else from any of you lot?
No.
Yeah, you pretty much answered that question. Yeah, we'll go on to the next topic.
Now the third thing, now for the third thing in which we're going to consider is past meetings, and of course the last meeting involving any of us three clubs, or involving at least two of us three, was of course the Europa League final, not the Champions League final, because of course they wouldn't have been able to play either of us because we were in the Europa League, not the Champions League. But yes, what are your thoughts on the Europa League final?
Bad.
What did you think? Did you think you were going to win?
I was confident, but as soon as we made it onto the pitch, I was looking at their faces like I was just looking down on myself. I was thinking, yeah, we're going to lose.
Yeah, I was kind of confident because Kante, apparently there was Kante could be injured, but when Kante was on, I was like, I was kind of in the middle. Like, I thought it was going to be like some even game, and at the second I was like,
to be honest, I thought that in the first half of the Europa League final, I thought that it was a bit shaky from us, particularly in the defensive third or the defensive phase. For those of you who love Sorry, but in the second half though, we turned it on. I don't know what Maurizio Sarri said at half time, but we came out all guns blazing. Not the podcast, but we came out all guns blazing, and we took Arsenal to the cleaners. We tore their defense apart, and we fully deserved to win the trophy.
I agree,
in
man.
the end.
You did really well.
Some of the combination play was absolutely scintillating, and it cut Arsenal apart. And based on that, I think that we could do it. We could do it in a similar way. However, it might just be harder because, of course, they brought in some new players, and of course, it might take some of the younger players a bit more time, particularly the ones who are out with injuries, time to understand what Frank Lampard wants from them. But the good thing is that we've got a manager who's hungry, who's able to implement things quickly, particularly to those midfielders. I'm sure he would encourage our midfielders to shoot more because of course Frank Lampard was a god when it came to that. But yes, that's it for my thoughts on the Europa League final. What are your thoughts on your most recent game involving either of us two, which was of course the North London derby?
Yeah, I'd say I'm glad we got a point against Arsenal. I thought the game was very even at Wembley. I
didn't actually watch that game, but from what I heard there were some mixed opinions on the game because there were loads of people saying that it was an even game. I didn't actually watch it because I was in Wimbledon doing something which I didn't even want to do. You probably know what that is. I heard loads of people saying that it was an even game. I heard loads of people saying that Arsenal deserved to win. I even heard a few Tottenham fans saying that they could have got the win themselves. But that's kind of what everyone's going to say when the game's hangs in the balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Continue.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing that we had a lot of chances, which I think Leonard saved them in that game. And I thought it was a bit controversial at the end, but overall I enjoyed the game.
Fair enough. Now for the next factor, which is of course our season openers. And again, starting off with Arsenal, your opening day fixtures, of course, against Newcastle United at St James's Park. What do you guys think?
I don't think we'll win. We'll get a draw. That's what I think because the defense is shaky. And if you look at Newcastle, they signed Joe Linton, a Brazilian striker from Hoffenheim, and I think he's a promising attacker. I know they've lost a few attackers themselves, but they've got Richie's. I think he's a decent player as well. He fights for the badge. I think Newcastle have some good players, and I don't think we'll win.
And you?
I think it'll be a tight game, but I think it'll be 3-2 Arsenal.
I think just before I give you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's opener against Manchester United, I think that Newcastle they'll probably give you guys a good game because more often than not, whenever they're playing a top 6 team, they turn up.
do.
They've caused us trouble down the years. I mean, before our game against them almost a year ago now, we hadn't won at their ground in 8 years, and that's a shocking record. That's worse than our record at Old Trafford, which I'm actually going to get to in a second. Yeah, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on Chelsea's opener against Manchester United. Just before I get into anything, you guys should know that I cannot stand those lot from. I cannot stand those lot. I absolutely hate them. They're the team I hate most. I sincerely hope that we beat them because, like I said, I cannot stand them. And not only that, we have not won at Old Trafford since May 2013, and that is absolutely shocking. Hopefully, Frank Lampard is the one to do it because, to be honest, last season, Maurizio Sarri should have been the one to do it. But of course, due to some selfishness at the end of the game, i.e. Gonzalo Higuain, when he didn't pass the ball to Hazard, we didn't win the game. And to be honest, I think that we should have won the game because we did create chances, particularly in the second half. We really should have won that game. But hopefully the players take that into our game this Sunday and get the job done because it's about time we won there, and it's about time we won there because it's been far too long. And on top of that, it's about time we put those deluded Manchester United fans to bed. But anyways, now for your thoughts on your opening day fixture, which is of course against Aston Villa at home.
I reckon I'm not going to say too much on it because usually I would be very confident going into the game against Aston Villa because we have a good record against them. But looking at both clubs' pre-seasons, especially Aston Villa's, they've been really good, and it's worrying me a bit. And I think with us, we've got injury at right back as well. So we're going to be playing Carl Walker-Peters, and I think Aston Villa can get somewhere exploiting that weakness. I'd say I'm not sure what the result's going to be, but I'm just not going to say much on it.
Again, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did not expect Aston Villa to beat RB Leipzig by 3 goals. I expected it to be the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically, like before the game even happened, I did say that I expected RB Leipzig to win because they have some brilliant players. I mean, they have Timo Werner and they have some other good players.
What, they beat Thing 3-0?
No, they beat them. Aston Villa beat them 3-1. I don't know how. I don't know how. Try not to swear.
So I was pissed out. What the hell? How are they doing that?
So out of these 3 fixtures, who do you think has it the hardest? I know you're probably going to say us, but realistically, who do you think has it the hardest?
Yeah. I'd say Chelsea.
Yeah.
Has it the hardest against Manchester United away from home. It was pretty tough on the first day.
I think with the way we've been playing going forward, I think that we can actually exploit them. But of course, it's going to be really difficult. I think that this could be a season-defining game because, of course, it's the first day of the season, and it's against the best team in the country in terms of history, of course. Because right now they're dead. Let me not even say that. Let me just go on to the next and final topic, which is, of course, our thoughts on who has the best chance of stopping either Liverpool or Manchester City from winning the title. Again, this comes down to the strength of each squad, and that could of course be very hard to predict because of course you never know what's going to happen during the course of the season, and of course some players are bound to get injured. But again, I'm going to start with you guys. Go on. Who do you think has the best chance? Yeah.
I think it's kind of painful to say, but I think Tottenham has the best chance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they have a defence, they have midfield, and they've got attack. Like with us, we have no defence. The midfield's a bit shaky, and the attack is really good. But yeah.
And you?
I probably might have to say.
It hurts. I know it hurts. It hurts.
It's a very hard one, isn't it? It's because all of our squads are similar in a way.
Fuck them, man.
You're gonna have to speak
Wait,
louder than that.
can I say something? Can I say something, please? Yeah. So basically, attack wins you games. Defenders win you titles. Right.
Fair enough.
Dead on.
Go on. Who do you think?
Tottenham.
They can't hear you.
Tottenham.
Oh God, my turn. Oh God, I honestly don't know. because all of our squads are similar in a way. Of course, some of our teams have more than others, more players than others. However, some of the recruitments that have been made can some of the recruitments that have been made can oh my days, I can't even speak. Some of the recruitments that have been made have been exceptional, and that of course could be the difference between actually stopping a team from winning the title and just finishing in the top four, or merely finishing in the top four. But for me, oh god, again I'm struggling. I'm not gonna. I hate to be biased, but I think we have a pretty sure chance of winning it because our defenders, we have a very strong defense. We have some really good defenders, if not world class defenders. We have a very good midfield. We've got some young players as well, and we have some brilliant attackers. Sadly, Eden Hazard has left, but we do have some brilliant players. I mean, Pulisic has been really good for us in pre-season so far. He was particularly great against RB on Red Bull Salzburg when he scored that brilliant, when he dinked it over the keeper for his second goal for us. Pedro's been excellent in pre-season as well with that sexy back heel again against Red Bull Salzburg, and he's been a good servant for us. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I do think that we might just have the best shot of stopping Liverpool or Manchester City from winning the title, because bearing in mind we did come third last season, although we were 25 points away from Liverpool. I do think that our defense will be a lot better with Frank Lampard as our head coach, not manager, head coach, because he's mainly going to use a double pivot, which of course is going to allow our team to have more defensive security, if you like.
Can I say?
Go on.
Yeah, because you guys last season, you guys were in the title race for a little bit. Innit?
Yeah, we were first.
And Tottenham was kind of in it as well for a little bit.
We were first at one point.
Yeah.
But we just fell off, unsurprisingly. Yeah. But anyways, now to conclude this video, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll say we're guaranteed third place or fourth place finish, in my opinion. Well, I don't think we're coming out in the top four. Like Michaeli said, Chelsea, I can't really doubt them as much, because when I do, they usually prove me wrong. So they have a big chance, because they were once in the title race at the beginning of last season. But we were also in the title race as well. We weren't first, but we were also in it. And if we were just a bit more clinical and better defensively, we could have pushed Man City and Liverpool all the way. But I'd say Chelsea and Tottenham probably have more of a chance than us.